Welcome back to another episode of the Casey Campbell Podcast. Casey Campbell with you, of course. Pleased to be joined by Mike Morris, the head football coach at Mount Morris High School. Yeah, it's that kind of sounds familiar there, Mike. How's it going?
Good. How you doing today?
Doing well.
Good.
So how's camp been going? I know you've been away for a few days, but
Yep.
overall, how was what have you kind of seen, and what have your assistant coaches reported back to you?
It's been a really good camp. We had really good numbers all summer. So that helps leading up into camp. Last Monday was an exciting day. We had over 50 kids. I believe we're at 52 right now. And that's something that we haven't had. This is my third year as the head coach, sixth year in the program, but it's the first time we've been consistently over 50. For the first week, in a couple of days of camp. So it's been great. I mean, the kids, like I said, with us having the kids attending the summer stuff, it's just an easy transition to that first day, so it's been a real smooth camp. So.
Okay. So going into, well, actually, let's talk about some of the guys that are coming back on this team and some of the, some of the players to watch. And let's start with the skill positions.
Skill positions. Right now, we have Joel Redwine. He's a sophomore for us. Wide receiver, defensive back. He'll play a little bit of running back. Last year as a freshman, he was just one of those kids that instantly caught our eye. Speed wise, he's one of our, fastest kids. I couldn't give you his exact 40 time, but he's a threat every time he touches the ball. This year we're breaking in a new quarterback with Hayden Garza, senior. The last few years we've been fortunate to have Landon Shones as the 3-year starter. But Hayden, over the summer, we had multiple conversations with him. He's the, shortstop on the baseball team. He's one of the point guards on the basketball team. He's just got the leadership qualities that you need as a quarterback, to handle the situations and manage the games for us. We have David Prince, who's a returning wide receiver for us. One of those guys is just sure-handed receiver. That you have to have. You have to have those guys that are willing. They know they're not going to be the big play guys. But David's one of those consistent guys that we have. Then we have junior Brent Wolford. He didn't play last year due to injuries, but he's another wide receiver, running back that we have. We have Avery Ward, who's a sophomore running back for us this year with the fifth quarter rule because of our numbers. We really take advantage of that. So Avery was the running back last year that, that fifth quarter, he was getting quality carries last year. So he's a kid that we're going to rely on pretty heavily too. So, we have some skilled guys. We have guys we're going to be able to spread the ball around pretty good. And hopefully they take advantage of what the other teams give us. So.
All right. So let's go to the offensive and defensive line.
Yep. We have 3 returning starters in our offensive line. Logan Bigelow is a 4-year starter. He came up about halfway through his freshman year. And he's a steady one, our left guard. Then we have our right guard, Gio Arrington, 2-year starter, senior. 2 physical kids. They understand the concepts of what we're trying to do, and they're the leaders up front. Then we have Jaden Jackson. He's a sophomore. He started for us last year at left tackle as a freshman. Did an amazing job, and actually at the beginning of the year he was actually our center. And to put that kind of pressure on him as a freshman, we handled it great. But then we had an injury, so we had to move him out to the left tackle. He did a great job there for us returning. And then the defensive side of the ball, we run an odd front, so we rotate a lot of defensive linemen in. DJ Bradshaw, he's a senior. Last year, again, one of those guys that just wreak havoc up front. We move him around a little bit. Very physical, very aggressive. And then we have a nice little rotation of nose guards with Greg Long, who, last year, again, they're not the biggest guys in the world, but again, they're physical. And, their job is to, again, create havoc that they're really good at. And then Logan Shones, another defensive lineman that we have coming back. So.
All right, let's go to linebackers in secondary.
Yep. So linebackers, Hayden Garza, our quarterback. He'll be a 3-year starter. He was honorable mention, I believe, the last 2 years in conference. Smart linebacker. Again, just a super athlete. His ball skills are, well above where they should be as a linebacker, but then again, being the point guard on the basketball team and shortstop, he's just got those instincts that we look for in a linebacker. We have sophomore Antonio Gatica. Again, he's one of those guys last year as a freshman. We really utilized the fifth quarter rule with him because we knew we were going to have him this year, and we had to get him quality reps again, with that fifth quarter rule, and that really benefited him. So our linebacker position is pretty tough, and then we have Tyler Ward, who's a 3-year varsity guy. He's only a junior. Again, fifth quarter rule. When he was a freshman, he came up and took some of those quality reps. So our linebackers are experienced. Even though Gatika is only a sophomore, he played quality reps last year. Then in the secondary, we have Joel's Redwine at safety. Again, just one of those guys that has a nose for the ball, understands how to control everything in front of him. He understands flow of the game very well. Then at our corners, we have Brent Wolford and David Prince. Again, two guys that are on the offensive side of the ball that will be, playing positive minutes on the defensive side as well.
Special teams, where we at there?
Special teams, again, Hayden Garza, he's our kicker. Again, as you can see, he does it all, and that's just him as an athlete. He's our kicker. I don't have the stats in front of me, but I do know I think he only missed 2 extra points last year, and I don't believe they were his fault. Yeah. As he'll tell you, they were never his fault. And he does our punting as well. And then the return aspect of the game, we kind of have a triple-headed monster back there with Brent Wolford, Avery Ward, and Joel's Redwine. All 3 guys have an opportunity to take it every time they get the ball, so we kind of move them around a little bit, because teams are going to scheme against that a little, so we kind of have different things that we like to set up for those guys. So.
All right. So let's talk about, obviously we talked about all the kids. Let's talk about the schedule. Of course, starting it off at the Vehicle City Gridiron Classic on the 24th against Clio. And then, of course, August 31st, home against Owasso. Yep. And then September 8th at Chesaning, September 15th home against New Lothrop, September 22nd at Duran, September 29th home against Otisville Lakeville Memorial, October 6th at Montrose, October 13th home against Ovid Elsie, and then finishing out the regular season at Caro. I think that's how you say it.
Caro. Yep.
All right. So just talk about the schedule that you guys got.
I'll start it out with the Gridiron Classic. Obviously, that's the Mount Morris-Clio rivalry is something that dates back, way before our time. This would be the 73rd meeting between the schools. Yeah. And when everything came about 6-7 months ago, it was just excitement. Coach Brian over there in Clio, does a great job. I know Tony, so we had a chance to talk about it prior to, when the rumors were floating around that we were going to play in this game. And what an amazing opportunity for our kids to play in historic Atwood Stadium. I mean, every, major events that have happened there, downtown Flint now is starting to, rebuild and come back. And it's exciting down there. A few weeks ago, we took my sons down to one of the Flint Bucks games, so Atwood is an amazing facility. And, we were down there for the press conference a couple weeks ago and seeing the kids, their faces kind of lighten up a little bit walking into a stadium, because they've never had an opportunity to play in a true stadium before. And just the opportunity to play our rival in Clio, it's going to be a really, really, neat experience for the kids, and then Owasso, we know they're going to be big and physical, non-conference game. You never know what to expect because we're not familiar with them, but I know Owasso, they'll be, again, big and physical, and they'll have athletes. And I stand by this, our conference, even though we're, mostly Division 6, 7, 8 schools, it's still one of the toughest conferences in the state, football wise. I mean, you have, your New Lothrop, your Montrose, Durand, Coach Webb has done an amazing job out there, with that program, and their 9-0 run last year in our conference. And then they lose to, Lansing Catholic in the state playoffs. Chesaning is one of these programs that, every year they're building, and in our conference, we have some very good football teams. Lakeville, Coach Richardson out there is his first year, but we went against them in a 7-on-7 a few weeks ago, and they are a different level than what they've been. Ovid Elsie is one of those consistent, programs. They're just good football teams. So our conference, you win our conference, you've done something special, and anybody can knock anybody off any week. And that's the one thing about our conference that I do like. Anything can happen, but when you have, week in and week out, you have some pretty tough football games. So yeah,
All
it's a
right.
really, really good conference.
Okay, so really in these next few weeks, also preview what if you have a scrimmage this week, where are you going? And also what do you want to see out of this team before that first game?
Yeah, we're at home against. We're changing up our format a little bit this year. We're at home against Powers Catholic. We decided that let's just do a one-on-one scrimmage where it's more game-like. We're going to involve more special teams under control. Just get the kids, because both teams are going to be really young, and so we want to get those kids that game-like experience rather than more a set. Okay, 15 plays here, 15 plays here. We're just going to throw them out there. Hey guys, this is what we have to adapt to. And as far as the scrimmage, obviously, number one, stay healthy. We don't want to take any big risks. We're going to get a lot of guys, a lot of opportunities to show us what they have in the scrimmage. And then leading up to that first game against Clio, is just being prepared. And that was one thing with this group, this team that we have. Again, our practices have been really good. And, I think they know, that preparation, will get you results. And so, obviously, number one, making sure we stay healthy, but, just being prepared, understanding what we're trying to do, and just competing, just be that team that's going to compete every play, no matter what happens, just compete, so that's what we really try to instill in the guys.
Yeah. So, all right, Mike, thank you so much for coming on and talking with
Thanks
us.
for having
And
me.
best of luck to the Panthers this coming
Yeah,
season.
thank you. I appreciate it. Thank you very much.